Hi everyone, Chris Nansky here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Given the topic matter that I want to share with you today, I thought it would be best for me to be outside here in nature taking a walk, because one of the things I just realized is that it's been 5 years since I did one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life, and that's walk what's called the Camino de Santiago. So for those that aren't familiar with the Camino, it's a 500-mile walk across Spain. You start in western France in a place called Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. You climb up into the Pyrenees Mountains, and then you descend into northern Spain. And then it's basically a pilgrimage that you do for the next 29, 30, 32 days. And I didn't even realize how long it's been since I had done it until on Facebook I got this notice saying, hey, look what you did 5 years ago. So it got me thinking of some of the lessons that I learned while I was down there, and one profound one that I want to share with you today. Hey, thanks so much for joining, Paul. Good to see you. Good to see everyone who's joining. So anyway, I'm on the Camino, and as you might, for those that know me, know that when I have a challenge in front of me, I basically lean into it full speed and have real dogged determination to make it happen. In fact, it's often said that when the way we do one thing in our life is generally how we do everything. And it's certainly that way with the Camino. Generally, the way you do the Camino is how you're probably doing your life. And so what I did is I was so unconscious to it, but I just really treated it like an athletic event. I would get up in the morning at 5 o'clock. I would be out before any of the other pilgrims would be on the trail. And I used to say it was because I like being outside by myself, enjoying the walk, the crunch of the gravel underneath my feet at sunrise, which was all true. But the reason that I was really doing is because I wanted to treat it as almost an athletic contest. I was so focused on going from point A to point B. Hey, Lenny, thanks for joining. So intent on making sure I kept on schedule and making sure that I made great time. So that's really what it became for me until I had this one really profound experience. So I was walking through a village one day. It's probably about 9 o'clock in the morning, early like I did most of the time because I was out ahead of the other pilgrims. And I was walking through this village before it was even awake. And as I was walking, I noticed something out of the corner of my right eye. And I continued to walk, though, because I didn't want to be late to my destination, but it kept pulling me toward it. So what I did is I stopped after about 10 or 15 paces, and I went back, and there above the door said, "This is the refuge for the peregrinos," which basically means the refuge for the pilgrims. So I thought, this is really interesting, and I felt really compelled to go inside. I take a step inside, and as soon as I did it, my monkey mind started. Wait a minute. Maybe this is a tourist trap. Wait, I'm going to be late to my next destination. What if it's dangerous inside? And I pulled back. I let my monkey mind control me. And then I went on my way. And, of course, I got to my destination, the next village, in exactly the amount of time that I wanted. But then a couple days later, something happened. I walked into a restaurant, fully expecting that I was going to be having dinner by myself. And I saw a table of a bunch of friendly Americans and Canadians I had met along the way. And they're waving over to me to have dinner with them. So I made my way over and sat down at the head of the table, ordered my dinner, and started in conversation with him. And there was this one affable guy to the right of me. I believe he was from San Francisco. He said, "Hey, everybody, let's have a discussion here. Let's talk about one of the most profound experiences you've had yet on the Camino." He said, "I don't know about you, but did anybody stop at that refuge for the peregrinos?" So, of course, my ears perked up. And I thought, man, I was just there a couple days before. Let's hear what he has to say. And then he goes on to say, you know what? That was the most amazing thing that I did in this entire Camino. He said, I went in there. Soft music was playing. There was a warm fire. I sat down. They gave me cookies and tea. He said, I listened to soft music, and then I spoke with the owner. He said, I was there for over 2 hours. It was the most amazing thing I've done on this entire trip. Well, I'm sitting at the head of the table, now slumping down, realizing what I had done. But then I felt compelled to share. And I raised my hand and I said, you know what, guys, I got to admit to something. And I told them what I had done. That I had walked in the door and I turned right around and walked out. And I vowed right at that moment, I said, you know what? I've realized I've been doing this whole trip for the last 2 weeks as nothing more than an athletic contest. And I vowed to slow down. And that's what I did. I slowed down, and rather than get out on the trail first thing in the morning to walk for 4 hours, I would stop every morning for breakfast and have a tea and a chocolate croissant. Then I'd stop for lunch, and I got to meet all these amazing people along the way. In fact, oftentimes when I'd be having discussions with people I hardly knew, they were giving me the messages exactly what I needed to hear at that time. And I created these great experiences. And so the big message for me during that was, how many times do I have an opportunity to slow down and just kind of be present with what is? Because for me, it's really easy. And in fact, it started again once I got back to Denver. But how many times do I continue to just forge ahead because I think I have to play the game of getting things done, when sometimes the answers are right in front of us? So that's my lesson from the Camino for this week is, where do you have a place or an opportunity to slow down? Where do you have time to kind of stop and smell the roses and maybe just be present? Be present with what you're doing, where you're at, and the people that you're having a conversation with. Because sometimes, and I know that, not sometimes, but almost all the time, that's where the magic happens. So it's my hope for you this week that you slow down. You appreciate what's in front of you, because you never know, the destination that you're trying to find might be right in front of you. So there's my lesson from the Camino, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for all of you who are tuning in. I see Terry Lynn Moore there. Thanks so much for tuning in, Terry Lynn. If you enjoyed this, please comment, like, and share. And also, if you find that this might help somebody else, please make sure to pass it along to them. So anyway, this is Chris Natsky from Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.